State of the Sun Devils with Jeremy Schnell, Jesse Morrison, and Mitch Baraldis, an Arizona Sports podcast.
Hello and welcome into another edition of State of the Sun Devils alongside Jesse Morrison and Mitch Baraldis. I'm Jeremy Schnell. Well, down the stretch we come, boys and girls. The men's basketball team has USC and UCLA this weekend, Thursday at 9 p.m., and then on Saturday at 9 p.m. Great time, 9 p.m. Can't wait for the Big 12 scheduling, Mitch.
Pac-12 just trying to really hit us hard on the way out the door with these 9 p.m. start times. But
I love
what else
9
is
p.m.
new?
starts.
They put the Territorial Cup on the Pac-12 network. I mean, should we be any surprised with how this conference has handled things at all, period? Any aspect in any sport. Get your coffee.
I really like the 9 p.m. starts. That personally, I think, you get your whole day and then you can watch some basketball right before bed. Perfect.
No, I'd rather the game start at 4 p.m.
You're getting old. Speaking of which, Jeremy, how you doing?
Good.
What happened? Anything Okay, there we go.
I'm married.
There we go. Yep.
Shout out to my wife, Marie. As we are entering this next stage of our lives together, we're very happy. And I was on a jet ski in the middle of the ocean last week, and now I'm back here to talk about ASU basketball. Nothing like it, guys.
What? Expand on what your honeymoon was. What did you do?
Okay, I'll let you know. First of all, happy 305 Day to everyone that celebrates.
Okay. You need to put some context into that.
I'm from Miami. I went to Miami last week, saw a nice Florida Panthers win in overtime as they defeated your Washington Capitals, Jesse. And then I went on a nice cruise to Cozumel, Mexico, the southernmost island in Mexico. And then after that, it took us all the way to Bimini, to the Bimini Beach Club and Virgin Voyages. We did a nice little excursion where we went on a jet ski, and it was a lot of fun. That was my favorite part of the whole cruise, the jet ski. Marie will say that I tried to flip her off the back of it. I'm gonna explain it. She's not here to explain it, so I will explain it. Here's what happened. We were first in line behind our guide. He went back in. This was toward the end of the jet ski excursion. He went back in. He said, wait for me. Once I get to the area where we're docking, I'll wave you in. And so once he gets back, he starts waving me in. Marie did not have her hands on my hips at this time. I did not realize it. I'm just listening to authority. I'm just ready to go. I want to go. And then she's like, Jeremy, when I started moving, I was like, what? She's like, you just tried to flip me off the back. And I'm like, I did not try and do this on purpose, but that's a great start to our marriage.
The best thing to do in this situation is say, Marie, grab onto...
She did most of the time.
But when the guy motions you, you say, hey, we're getting ready to go.
I did not realize that her hands were off my hips is what I'm saying.
How?
I wasn't thinking. I'm just listening to authority, and I'm ready to go.
And then this guy also, he rides around on a jet ski in an ocean and won't ride a roller coaster. Anyway, we're way off topic.
Yeah. Mitch, have you ever been on a jet ski before?
More so, my reaction was, why did I think authority was some sort of Pitbull song rather than you just actually talking about what the guide was telling you to do? Jet ski
authority.
Was a long time ago.
Jesse's got a new Pitbull song.
I mean, that's all it would be. Is he would just yell authority, and then there would just be dance music in the background, because that's a Pitbull song for you.
Yeah.
That's how you put together a Pitbull song.
That's Dale Times or something like
Dale,
that.
Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide. He's got a couple of misters in there.
Guys, there's a basketball team. There's two basketball teams that are
Yeah.
going into the Pac-12 tournament. So why don't we talk about this?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Guys, they're one game under 500 somehow.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of a positive. They won against Washington State. That was a huge win, Mitch.
I don't know how to feel about this team, and we've said a version of that exact sentence all season long. They get the great win against Wazoo, who had been on an absolute tear in the year 24. I just don't understand why this particular team is so inconsistent night in and night out. And we've pointed to different things. Maybe it's because they don't necessarily have a set offensive structure. Maybe On some nights that their defense is really good, those open shot opportunities that they get, they actually go in. And on other nights when they have those open shot opportunities, it doesn't work out for them. Perfect example was what we saw against U of A last Wednesday. First half was miserable, dreadful offensively. But the defense was at least good enough to keep Arizona to only 40 points in the first half. That's saying a lot for a team that, if I recall correctly, could average at least 90 to 93. The second half was like a surge from ASU offensively, and they were getting great looks. They were good in transition. They were forcing great defensive stops early on in that second half, and they just could not close the gap. And I would love to see some consistency out of this group. And I'm going to say this next year, because I don't think there's anything that we're going to see this year that's going to change our minds about how we feel about this squad.
Jesse, first of all, the fight back that the team had against Arizona, that's something you like to see. But
Yeah.
and I honestly want to ask you about the atmosphere, because you guys were there. What did you think of the atmosphere for this game?
It was a very large crowd, not necessarily a very rowdy crowd at times, just because of how the game was going. But it got pretty good down the stretch, in the Territorial Cup when they made the comeback. But like in the first half, I felt like it was just a mass of people and not that much noise, and a lot of U of A noise, honestly. There was a lot of U of A noise, honestly, in the whole game.
I was listening to the game on the Arizona Sports app. You can always listen to every game.
Why weren't you just enjoying your honeymoon? This is so weird.
Again, I was relaxing. I was sitting by a pool, and I just thought, maybe I'll just turn on the game.
Maybe just to enjoy your wife and your honeymoon.
I was. She was reading a book. I was listening to the game. We were having a nice time coexisting together. That's what you do in a marriage. You coexist.
Okay.
You have a good time together.
Okay.
And
on your honeymoon?
You can listen to an ASU basketball game, men's basketball game. The fight that the team had, at one point they were down by a lot, and it was ASU had a little bit of points. What did you think of that, Mitch?
I appreciate how do I want to phrase this? Is the proper term like this team is never really out of it, even when they look really, really out of it? Because that's basically what we saw on Wednesday, is that at any given moment, this is a team that can just flip a switch, really get aggressive defensively and less aggressive offensively. I think that's important there. And they can find ways to chip away at very massive leads. I mean, we've seen several times this year that this group can just get out on a run. And a big part of that run is them creating defensive stops to help facilitate into an offensive possession that actually sets them up with a good shot opportunity. And it's not just them flailing up threes because they're like down by 20 or anything like that. They're actually putting themselves in good positions to chip away at the lead offensively. And I hope that going back to consistency, I only hope that they can do this kind of play for a full game and not just one half.
Yeah, I mean, they've got these 2 regular season games left, and then they have the Pac-12 tournament. It's now or never to find consistency. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that they're probably going to split this weekend, and then they're going to win one in Vegas and lose another in Vegas, and that'll be that. I don't even think... their only chance at the postseason, in my opinion, is if they win the Pac-12 tournament, because I don't even think they can get into the NIT if...
Bobby doesn't want the NIT. We've seen that before.
Yeah, but also they've never had a team that's really NIT eligible when they're
either too bad for the NIT or too good for the NIT.
Yes, exactly. They either make the tournament or they aren't good enough to even consider being in the NIT. And, there's also the CBI, but that costs money to play in. You don't really want to do that. I've heard that it's too expensive. There's no point in playing in the CBI unless you're the Patriot League's runner-up, because it gives you something to play for. But these 2 games this weekend, super, super, super important for them to get on a roll going into the Pac-12 tournament. If they are going to do the unthinkable and somehow make the tournament and get, be the Oregon State of 2021, I think it starts this weekend. I think it starts with the UCLA and USC games. They're both just not very good teams. I think that they've been playing better, but they're not really good teams. USC is one of the worst teams in the Pac-12. Yes, they've had injuries, whatever, but you've got to win that game, and I think you've got to win the UCLA game going into the tournament, or else there's no momentum. There's not much. They'll get up for the tournament, but
they just got to get some confidence, Jesse. I mean, we talked about it in a different episode. During that big losing streak that they had, we talked about how the losing streak wasn't necessarily at the wrong time, but they had to get back on track, and they had to do it now. The winning streak that they had at the beginning of Pac-12 play was also at the wrong time. Now can they close out Pac-12 play and get hot at the right time? It's doing things at the right time that helps you gain momentum in a college basketball season.
Yeah,
that's the hot team. It's the same in hockey, actually. The hot goaltender, the hot team, wins the Stanley Cup. The hot team in college basketball gets into the tournament. So we'll see what happens.
There's always a team.
Always a chance.
There's always a team that wins their conference tournament with 20 losses or something like that. They get into the first 4. Again, if ASU does win this tournament, they will be back in their very familiar location of Dayton, Ohio.
Mitch, you want to go in on a timeshare in Dayton?
Well, no. Here's what I'm curious about. I like your take about they just went hot at the wrong time, because you could also argue that we should have just known what this team was going to be based on how they did in the non-conference play. A lot of really bad losses, and the wins that they got were wins that they should have gotten, right? That was kind of the gauge. I'm more so curious, do we even expect this team to get hot, given everything that we've talked about as far as inconsistency, going on runs, everything that we've seen about this team? What is it that's going to convince you that this team can get hot and actually push for and make a run at winning the Pac-12 tournament? Because, we said it's a 1 in a million, but to your point about getting hot, we've seen that this team can do it just at the wrong time. But I don't see how this team can get hot and just blitz through the entire Pac-12. I don't see it.
When they're cutting down the nets next Sunday or Saturday, whenever the final is, that's when I will know that they have gotten hot. Until that happens, I am not convinced. As I said, again, I think they will split this weekend, win a game in the tournament, lose in the second round. That's what I think is going to happen. But if they want to win, then they've got to get some momentum, win these 2 games, and then get on a roll. But I just don't think that's going to happen.
They should be 4-2 in their last 6 games. They really blew that game against Washington in overtime. They should be 4-2.
They probably should have come back and beat U of A. They were the better team in the second half.
Yes. So, I
don't see consistency in this team.
Right, but you're seeing something, right? They only lost by 2 to Washington. They should have made their free throws, and they win that game. So they should be 4-2 in the last 6 games.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Could be 5-1.
Could be. Would be.
These last 2 games, USC, not good. Terrible, actually. They should win that game.
Yep.
UCLA, similar record. Get back at them for beating you earlier in the season by 2 points. And see what happens in the Pac-12 tournament. That's all I got on this.
It's not. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No,
but,
it's probably not.
But, for ASU sake, we would love it to happen because it gives us something to be excited about. It gives, and this conference is not that good. It's not going to be that hard. They can literally, I was listening to Bobby Hurley this morning on Bickley and Murata, and he said, I believe, that they can play with anybody. And I'm like, yeah, they can. They can play with anybody in this conference. it shouldn't be out of the question that they can go on a roll and win. I just don't think it will happen.
ASU women's basketball didn't finish last in the conference this year.
No.
How was Oregon this bad this year?
Roster reconstruction. They're probably their best player is on Dawn Staley's undefeated team at South Carolina.
So Oregon's played one more game than them this season. Is that
because remember that game that Xavier had to cancel against ASU because of the injury bug that they had?
Jesse, they also seem to play well against Utah.
They do.
So is this a winnable game to end the season here? Or
Here's my thing. Mm-hmm. Now, Utah has stuff to play for because they want to get a higher seed in the NCAA tournament, but they're locked in. They're a ranked team. I think, though, that ASU has played Utah pretty well the last couple of times that they've played them. And I think that in the game tomorrow on Wednesday, 9 p.m., another late game, and it might be 9:30 actually.
It is at 9:30.
Yep, a 9:30 game. Love it. I'm a big fan. You guys can disagree with that, but I think that this is the game. And Utah, one of their best players, Gianna Neepkins, out for the season, not playing. I think that this game, ASU pulls the upset, gets the second round.
It would be a great win because they haven't won in, 3 weeks now, Jesse? Since they beat Washington, which was a very good win for this team. They needed that.
OT.
They need this, right? They've lost how many in a row? 6? 5?
5 in a row,
Yeah.
but they play hard.
They only lost by 14 to number 3 Stanford.
Yeah, exactly. Like that game, I tuned in late because it was closer than 14. Toward the end, I believe it was a 10-point game going into the fourth quarter. So again, this team plays hard. They need size. They need rebounders. They don't have that. If they had that, I think that they would be a lot better than they are. I also think the Big 12 for women's is more top heavy than it is like a good deep conference. And so I think that next season they're going to be a lot better than they were in the Pac-12 the past couple of years. But yeah, I think they're going to beat Utah on Wednesday. I just have a good feeling about it.
Utah doesn't have a lot to play for.
Utah, I mean, they have seeding to play for. They could potentially, according to legendary ASU women's basketball broadcaster Jeff Munn, the legend, he loves when I say that. He said that Utah could potentially host in the tournament because in the women's tournament you get to host
top 4 seeds.
Top 4 seeds get to host. Yeah. ASU did that one time and they welcomed in Tennessee, and they ended up losing to Tennessee. But that was I've heard electric atmosphere at
I was there.
Then Wells Fargo Arena.
Yes, the bank.
The bank, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's something to play for sure. You want to host, but I just Utah's been so inconsistent this year. I got the Sun Devils.
How important is this final game for this final stretch? We'll see if it's their final game, but how important is this Pac-12 tournament run for the ASU women's team, Mitch?
I mean, I would have, basically as you guys were setting it out, I would just be happy with a win, or if I'm really setting the bar low, I would be happy with a very, very competitive loss. And I don't want to diminish there has been noticeable improvement from last year to this year under Coach Adair. And I can only hope that we see that continued growth from this squad because they are losing some keepers as, Jaden Simmons and Treasure seniors. They will need to at least find some consistency going into next year. And Coach Adair needs to continue building up this squad slowly but surely, at least from what I've been seeing. But I will feel great, ecstatic if they can pull off this win against Utah. I will feel just as good if they can show fight and be competitive even if it's a loss.
They will have 4 more wins than they had last season if they beat Utah, 3 more if they lose.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Coach A has proven that, she deserves another year here with the improvements on last season. That's all that you can ask for when you're building a program, is build on your previous year and then, take that big step. And I will say Jaden Simmons could come back. I know she was honored at senior day, but she could come back. She could have that COVID year. So who knows what she does, very, very integrated into the Sun Devil family because of, her parents and, what they mean to the ASU community.
And at this point, she's an ASU legend. She scored over 1,000 points for the ASU. So, we would love to have her back, but if she doesn't, great career, and we wish her the best. All right, spring football. The game is scheduled, finally. 6 p.m. What do you think about that? I'm happy. I'm very happy for a 6 p.m. start instead of a 1 p.m. start.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's late in April, very, very late in April, because the later you hold your spring football, the less the transfer portal window is open for these players after these spring football games. So Kenny Dillingham playing chess, not checkers. Is that why he's doing it, or is that why you think that's
he's
just why I think he's doing it? It's pretty clear.
No sources here, but
no sources, yeah. But I think it's pretty clear. You can put two and two together. I'm sure he would say, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I have to ask him. I probably will. But at the same time, April 26th, very busy day around the Valley. Potentially could have Suns playoffs. Could have
how they're playing right now.
Yeah, it is. It is the NFL draft that day as well.
Wow.
And I believe the D-backs are home. So, Kenny really wants that fan support. He wants big crowds. 40, 50,000 at spring game or whatever he said last year. Maybe 30,000. I don't know if this date on a Friday at 6, especially 6 p.m., because maybe 7, but 6 p.m. is you get off work at 4:35 and then you're stuck in traffic. You might not even get there on time. So I don't expect the crowd to be necessarily great.
I think it should be better than last year since all the roads were closed getting to the stadium last year.
Pat's run.
Yeah. That was not smart in my opinion. It was a good idea in theory, but nobody could drive to the game.
Yeah, I just think, again, I just don't know if the fan support will be there necessarily. And again, I don't really blame anybody for not wanting to go to the spring game. It's you playing yourself. It's the quarters aren't as long. It's like Mick football. That's kind of how I describe it.
Well, I think what they're trying to do and what all college football teams are trying to do, Mitch, is just make it fun, right? Just to have little fun games weaved in there, right?
Entice people to go to see and support your product. And I understand that there are some other events going on in Arizona, but first of all, it's NFL Draft Day 2. Day 1 is already behind us. Nobody cares that much about Day 2.
You met Jeremy Schnell?
Second of all, setting it up so that your fans can actually get to the game, in theory, sounds very, very nice. I appreciate them putting it back to back with one of their biggest events of the year for the ASU community. But to Jeremy's point, it's kind of hard to get to where you need to go when all of the roads that you just used for this 4.2 mile run are not accessible. The biggest thing is if people truly want to show their support for this program, the simplest thing they can do is attend this free football scrimmage on Friday night at the end of April, which means the sun is going to be going down, so it won't be super duper hot as we've known it to get in later April. And B, free. Free. That spells free. How often are you going to get to see your ASU football team for free, especially given the new teams that they're going to be playing this year? where I'm sure ticket prices are going to be a little bit higher than we're used to because of the Big 12 competition they're going to be seeing.
I'm just intrigued about the quarterback battle, and I think that's enough to bring fans out to the game. Is like, you want to see how these quarterbacks are doing, and just like last year, I think that was interesting as well, and I think this year the same thing, and that should be enough to get people out to the game.
Hopefully ASU will have a new athletic director by then.
Hopefully. Still not there yet.
We'll see.
U of A has one. U of A's had one for a little bit now.
Probably, I think it's been a little over a month at this point. All right,
I'm kind of surprised that they were very quick to turn that around, too, in comparison to how long ASU's taking with that hire.
I am not very surprised that they're...
I think they wanted to move on from their former administration as quickly as possible.
Correct, but I also just think that,
ASU wants to get it right, and they want to make their search wide, and spread throughout the country.
Sure.
And Dr. Crow likes to do his research, and we'll see what happens. Let's go around Arizona State athletics real quick. Hockey, they have their final 2 games of the season, and then fingers crossed they're in the tournament. Jesse,
I think they're outside looking in right now.
No,
yeah, because only 16 teams make it. I'm not even going to start to try to explain the whole college hockey situation. It is some of the dumbest rules ever, like on how you qualify for things. Also, only a 16-team tournament is kind of lame to me. It should be, I think, a little bit bigger than that. I know there's not that many college hockey teams, but yeah, just...
Are we already asking for an expanded playoff in college hockey?
Yes, yes, yes. When was I don't know when the last time it was expanded, but yeah, expand the playoff. ASU has been a very good team this year. They deserve to get in.
Mitch, college sports fans are crazy for this, right? Like they all they want is expanded that.
I want the 96-team tournament.
No, you know what's crazy is deciding that after the overtime period in a tie, we're going to play a shootout, but it's going to be recorded as a tie regardless. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For some reason, we're just going to have a shootout.
Bragging rights.
And it's not going to affect your record whatsoever. So dumb.
I just want it to be wins and losses. And if that takes a shootout, that's fine.
You don't like the 3-number record? You don't like the hyphens in there? You don't like the 1-3?
An OT loss is fine, like the NHL. But I don't even think you could necessarily do that in college because
there's no point system.
There's no point system. Just wins and losses. Wins and losses. And if it takes a shootout, good. There you go. None of this pairwise. You get like percentage points or whatever for a tie. Like enough.
We should have done this road trip to Alaska, guys.
How about no?
We should have done this road trip to Alaska to see this. Friday and Saturday, they're in Alaska. They're taking on Alaska Anchorage.
And is this the time of the year in Alaska where it's like dark all day except for 2 hours?
Yes, but it's getting to the time where it's about to be light all day.
A strange place to decide to live.
March 24th is the selection show. Again, fingers crossed ASU hockey gets in.
Hockey players could go to Arizona State and instead they choose to play for Alaska Anchorage. Just saying.
I think the ASU men's hockey team is a little better, so I don't know if people are choosing Alaska Anchorage over ASU. ASU baseball 5-6 start. Good start to the year. Not a great start to the year, but great wins over Kansas State and Ohio State. They're on a 3-game losing skid. They played at Globe Life Park, Globe Life Field. Which one is it? I don't know. Whatever the Texas Rangers play in.
Globe Life Field. Globe Life Park is no longer
hosting baseball games. But they're a football stadium now.
Yep, UFL, baby.
Okay. New Contreras, he's out. He was out of the last game due to a back injury. Hopefully he returns soon. They host Oregon this weekend at Phoenix Muni.
Already conference play?
Yeah. Softball 14-7. Pac-12 play starts this weekend. This is where you say again, wow, already conference play, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They are 14-7. I looked at that and I was like, wait, they've already played 21 games? It is March 5th. Why? Why have they already played
tournaments, baby?
Yeah, but
It's all about those tournaments.
But like, it's just insane that
You understand the school year.
how early they start college softball.
Yeah, but you understand the school year ends in May. So
Yeah, they could just play less games. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't have to play as many games.
I agree. But they do play a lot of double headers and stuff.
They do, and it's a little much.
They're in Seattle for a 3-game series against the Huskies this weekend. All right, Mitch, you got anything else for me? I feel like you didn't say much during that whole.
Just for you?
Yeah, around the.
Just for Jeremy.
Yeah, no, you got anything else for me around ASU athletics?
I mean, we're in the busy season as far as like spring goes. There's several more athletic events going on. Of course, you've got water polo, you've got men's and women's swimming and diving, you've got wrestling, you've got men's and women's golf, tennis. Like there's
Gymnastics.
so much still going on. Exactly. There's plenty going on. Did I say wrestling as well?
Yes.
There's plenty going on in ASU athletics. So like every weekend is an opportunity to go out and support one of your clubs. Plus, it'll be the warmest that you've ever been in in Mullet Arena, because they won't have to keep cold for the ice much longer. It'll just be gymnastics and wrestling sometimes.
And the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great arena to witness any sort of event. It's not just for hockey. Like, it's a really good place to witness, the wrestling team when they get the mats in there, or the gymnastics team when they have all the equipment there. And then beach volleyball is going to be coming around soon. I know many beach fans out there, right?
Yeah. And
Globetrotters theme.
Yeah. The Olympics are coming soon as well. So good luck to all the Olympic sports.
Leon Marchand,
including Leon Marchand.
Women for France.
We're not necessarily going to be rooting for France, but we will be rooting for Leon Marchand to do well at the Olympics.
Yeah. He can finish in 4th behind 3 Americans.
Oh, stop it. That's just disrespectful.
No, it's not.
Anyway, that's going to do it for this edition
Go
of
States.
State of the Sun Devils. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on all forms of social media at AZ Sports Devils. You can find our all of our video podcasts on Arizona State or Arizona Sports YouTube channel. You can go also on the Arizona Sports app or arizonasports.com. Click on that video tab, and then you can find all the videos there that we all produce. Again, thank you so much for listening. For Jesse Morrison and Mitch Ferreldis, my good friends. I'm Jeremy Schnell. We'll talk to you soon.
We're on Threads?
Toodles.